Now, Israel says it struck Houthi military targets in Yemen's capital, Sana'a. According to Israeli media reports, senior political figures from the Iran-backed militia have been targeted. In other news, Unicef says children in the Sudanese city of Fasher are facing starvation, mass displacement, and deadly violence. An estimated 260,000 civilians, including 130 minors, remain trapped in desperate conditions and have been cut off from aid for more than 16 months. For more on this story, we can go across to Eva Hinds, Chief of Communication for Unicef Sudan. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today. Talk us through what exactly is going on in Fasher.
It's a devastating situation in Fasher at the moment. As you mentioned, it's been 16 months now. These are children that are trapped in there. They have very limited or barely no access to safe and clean water, to medicine, to vaccines, food, safety. It's a very difficult situation to try to manage. It's equally difficult for the adults, for the parents, for the moms and dads, try to provide for them. And it's outrageous from our perspective. We would very much like to go in there and provide life-saving support, supplies and services, but we are stuck outside. We don't have access.
What immediate measures are needed to gain safe access?
Well, there are a couple of things that are needed immediately. One is a pause to the fighting. We need to be able to get there safely. So the fighting needs to end, at least temporarily. So there needs to be a humanitarian pause. There needs to be safe and unimpeded access sustainably so that the trucks can get in and the trucks can then deliver these supplies that these children so desperately need. And of course, in the process, we need protection. Children need to be protected. The humanitarians delivering these services need to be safe, as well as then all these the critical infrastructure that the children need. Whether we talk about health centers or water points, they can't be attacked either.
What channels does UNICEF have to pressure the parties involved to allow you to gain access?
Well, of course, every time we aim to have aid convoys through, we discuss with whoever we need to discuss to make sure that we do make headway and we can deliver life-saving supplies wherever we are going in Sudan. But of course, this is a bit of a stalemate. We're talking about 500 days, and that's why it's so critical that we are today talking about this. And we are appealing to those who are fighting to put down the guns. We are also appealing to those who have influence on those who are fighting.
And what about the logistical and security challenges which need to be overcome in order to reach the most vulnerable?
Absolutely. This is a very big country that we're talking about. So even on a good day and even prior to the conflict, it was quite challenging to deliver supplies to the different corners of Sudan. It is about geography, covering long distances. It's also, at times, it can be about weather. At the moment, it's raining, so the rainy season is also making things a lot more difficult. Roads are muddy, some bridges are washed away. Only certain trucks that weigh a certain amount, they can pass. It's also about ongoing fighting. When it's fighting, it gets dangerous. It's also about bureaucracy. Delivering supplies requires different approvals from the different sides. And talking to every time we cross a conflict line, so talking to different sides to make sure that we can go. So it's difficult in many different ways.
And what are the risks when young children don't get food for too long? What are the risks that are simply not reversible sometimes?
Absolutely. There are many risks here. One being that when children don't have access to safe and clean water, to food, to good sanitation, when they live in very cramped conditions where there's barely no shelter, it means that these places are breeding ground for diseases, and they very easily can get sick and weak. And when they are sick and weak, then malnutrition tends to stalk. And when a child is malnourished for longer, this can have irreversible impacts. So it's not about a child's weight or height, but it can also have cognitive impact on the cognitive development in the long run.
And what is the situation in Sudan as a whole in terms of this conflict, as you said, that continues to go on? as you know, there's so many conflicts in the world that are going on at this point in time, whether it's in Ukraine, whether it's a situation in Gaza. Do you fear that what's going on in Sudan has taken sort of a backseat?
Sometimes it feels like that, and it's incredibly unfortunate, and it's also quite frustrating in many ways. As we are talking about millions of children, we are talking about millions of children who've been forced to leave their homes. This is a conflict and a war that's been going on for more than 2 years now. There are children that are going hungry. There are children that have been forced to leave their homes. Children who don't have health care. They don't have access to vaccines, safe and clean water. And this is particularly difficult in all these places like El Fasher. And El Fasher is just, unfortunately, one example of places that have been cut off from aid for a very long time, and places that are so close to the conflict lines. So life is very precarious for the children in these places.
Eva Hinds, thank you for joining us on the program today, and hopefully this story does gain traction around the world.